So what makes this 153,000 mile TRD Pro 4Runner worth $30,000? Well, that's a good question. And today I'm going to go over that with you. I get a lot of questions about why some of my vehicles might be priced at a certain price point, or how did you come up with that evaluation? There's much more than just looking at a third-party site that tells you, hey, this is where this car should be priced. That's always a good place to start, but that's not always the ending result of where you need to be price-wise on a car. This TRD Pro is a prime example of that, and I'm going to tell you why briefly. Biggest number one thing is scarcity. How much of this inventory is out there? Yes, there are TRD Pro 4Runners out there, but this color, Inferno, being a 1 year only color option, nationwide, I saw one other one. So if you're looking for something that is unique, that's not black, white, or gray, you got to start branching out into these 1 year only color options on the TRD Pro 4Runners. So again, scarcity is going to affect the value of that. Just as it would on a Porsche, a Ferrari, you get some weird spec, it's going to be worth more money. Overall condition is going to be number two. The third-party sites, they're not going to take into consideration condition, accident history, things like that. Carfax might do that, but for the most part, some of the other third-party sites are not going to do that. Condition is a big deal to most people, I think. Some people that are price shopping, they want the cheapest thing out there. That's not the customer I'm targeting, but there are those customers out there. And I think most Toyota buyers, specifically on the TRD stuff, Land Cruisers, things like that, they want a nice car. So again, condition is going to be another determining factor of pricing. Accident history is going to be number three. What kind of accident history, if any, does your car show, or the car that you're looking at? Do you care if it's been in an accident? I do. This car has no accident history, and that's going to affect the value. And then number four, I think the biggest thing is going to be what part of the country is it from, and is it rusty? You're always going to see vehicles from the Northeast and just in the northern part of the country in general are going to be much less expensive than the cars that have been in the South or out West since new that have no rust to speak of. Toyota buyers, you guys know you don't want anything rusty. I don't, and I know you guys don't either. So, what makes this car worth $30,000 in my opinion? Scarcity. There's none of them out there as far as in this Inferno color. This will be the second one that I can find advertised. The other one's been in a major accident. So scarcity, number one, history, number two, accident history, number two, condition, number three, and number four, what part of the country is it from? And this car is from Florida, and it's 100% rust-free. So there's not anything to worry about there. So just wanted to clear that up for a lot of people. I get a lot of questions about why my vehicles are priced where they are. And I'll tell you right off the bat, I'm never going to be the cheapest guy out there. I don't want to be the cheapest guy out there. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to have the best picture of a vehicle that I can have put together to pass on to my customers so that when they go to sell it, they can feel good about knowing that they've got a nice car that hasn't been in accidents, that is rare. They've got these things to sell on down the road. And if they don't, then they keep it forever, and that's cool. But if not, you're set up for success moving forward. So this is a 2015 TRD Pro 4Runner. Obviously finished off in the hard-to-find Inferno Orange. This is a 3-stage pearl. It's an awesome color that really pops. Again, the gray, the black, the white on the TRD Pros, that's not for me. But I know there are people out there that want those, and those are going to be at a much less price point than something like this. This car's got 153,000 miles on it. It's a 2-owner car, and it's been in Florida since new. 100% rust-free, fantastic service history. Battery was just replaced at Toyota. Oil change was just done at Toyota. Now, when I say just done, within the past few months prior to my acquisition, about a year and a half ago, this thing had spark plugs, front diff, transfer case, rear diff were all flush. So lots of good dealer maintained service history on this car. So I'm excited to showcase this car for you today. I did my best to match the car. I knew I was going to be filming, so hopefully I did good there. But let me spin this camera around. Let's check some monitors. Let's look at the undercarriage and see what comes with the car, and we'll get it outside and do our thing. All right, so first things first, let's check the undercarriage here before we start the car up to eliminate some noise. And the TRD skid plate, that's aluminum, obviously. That will corrode quite easily, actually. Doesn't have to necessarily be in a super conducive area for rust. They'll turn this ashy white color and even start to peel and flake. But we don't have any of that going on here. This car looks fantastic as far as rust goes. There's absolutely zero rust on this whole car. And, you know, Florida can be hit or miss. Sometimes you can get into Florida, and just depending if it was close to the coast or wherever it might have been, you're going to see some rust. Not the case here. CV axle looks awesome. We don't have any tears. We don't have any grease that's slinging around anywhere. And let me see if I can zoom up and get the power steering rack. There we go. Oh, is that the rack? No. Chris, that's definitely not the rack. Oh, there's the rack. We don't have any leaking going on there. CV axle looks great, but most importantly, zero rust going on this car. So we'll move over here to this passenger side. I got the wheel cut, so it's going to be a little easier to see the rack itself. There we go. CV axle itself, look how nice all that looks. We don't have any cracking, anything like that going on. Ball joints all look good. But again, most importantly, look how nice the bones are. Zero rust to talk about. Look at the frame. Look how nice all that looks. Absolutely zero, even on the weld points, which is kind of odd, really. Normally, it's pretty normal to see light rust or even just a little bit of light corrosion on the welding spot points on the frame, but not the case here. This car was very well cared for, and hopefully this video is going to do it the justice it deserves. I think once I get it outside, I think you all will see what I'm talking about. Look how nice everything looks. We got a brand new spare. Looks like it's never been on the ground. Great bones on this car to start with. So that's awesome. So let's check some monitors real quick. And I do this on all my videos. I know a lot of you know this, but those of you that don't, we're gonna plug up my scanner. I'm gonna start the car. And we are gonna check the emissions monitors on this car. And the emission monitors monitor the emission system. So if there's problems with the anything check engine light related, you are going to see that here. We can see we have 9 monitors. They're all green, those dots. They're all ready to test. We have no stored data, so we don't have any issues to worry about on this car. This car will pass emissions in all 50 states, and there is no underlying stored data that will need to be addressed with this car. So that's always a good thing. Let's turn these, actually one thing I'll show real quick. So in 15, you could get these LED DRLs, which they stopped doing. So this does have the LED DRLs, which is kind of cool. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe this is just a 1-year option only. And I think you could only get it on the Pro. I know I've never had an SR5 Premium or a limited that has had those. So kind of a cool thing there. Let me turn on the rest of the headlights. So whoever buys this needs to put LED headlights in it to match the fog lights, but we can clearly see all that is working as it should. Let's take a walk around the back of the car. Make sure our tail lights are all lit up. We got a tail light, 2 tag lights, and another tail light. Let me flip these bright lights on. Bright lights work as they should. And we're gonna hit the left blinker. And I will hit these in the video. We got a working blinker. We have no signal on the Pros because these start out as SR5s from the factory, so they're not gonna have turn signals in the mirrors. Working blinker. And we got a working blinker. Sweet. So, things that come with the car. We do have a full set of books in here. I do have a wheel lock for you in here. And we have 2 remote keys and we have a valet key. So that's awesome. And let me show off the instrument cluster real quick and we'll get this thing outside and get going on the video. So here's our cluster. We are at normal operating temperature, 153,780 miles. We have no lights on. Unbelievably, the tire pressure light is not on. So that is a good thing. So yeah, so let's get this thing outside and showcase the body. All right, so here we are outside with the Pro. And I'm excited to show this thing off because it is really nice and clean, as I like all my vehicles. So here we are under the hood. Again, this car is out of Florida. No rust at all anywhere, which Florida cars can be hit or miss. Look at all our bolts down here. Those are bolts that will always rust. Our aprons like to rust down in this area on the Gen 5 4Runner. Look how nice everything looks back here. Again, these are areas that will corrode, and Florida is hit or miss. You got to be careful on where you buy a vehicle from in Florida. So everything looks great. Brake boosters, I know a lot of you know, those are very susceptible to rust. Everything sounds really good. Nice and quiet the way that it should. All right, moving on. So let me start on the roof and we'll work our way down. Hopefully I don't mess the kick plate up too much. Nothing really to talk about up here. Everything looks great. In a land of four-wheel drive Toyotas, specifically these TRDs, nothing has been placed up here on this roof, which a lot of them will have baskets, roof tents, things like that. Nothing to talk about up here. Everything looks great. Love the Inferno color, obviously 1-year color option, and it's a great looking color. So right here on this front bumper, as we can see, there is no paint on this car, paint work anywhere on this car. We did not have to do anything to the front bumper. There is just some minor touch up in and around this front bumper. I'm not going to point it all out. It's all very minor. You can see a little spot right there, a couple little spots up here. But this color touches up really well, believe it or not. And it looks great. Even the black trim down here, same thing. It's got a few little spots in and around it. I think you can see that. There's no damage or anything major going on, just some light little touch-up spots. But everything looks fantastic as far as overall condition. Our headlights are in great shape, as you can see. Nothing to really talk about there. No peeling, no cracking, none of that going on. Same thing with our upper grille painted part up here. Everything looks really nice, and even on the Toyota Pro specific part of the grille, it looks really, really nice as well. Moving over here to the other painted part of the bumper. You know, again, as you can see, this car was really well cared for. Very minor touch up in and around this front bumper, but nothing crazy. Nothing that I feel like I even need to really show. The headlights are in great shape again, as discussed previously. Look how nice all that looks. Front of our hood and hood in general, much like the bumpers, is in great shape. There are some little minor spots right here. Try to get a clear shot of it. You can kind of see as we move along the front of the hood, there's a great shot of the hood itself. You can see the touch-up that is on the hood. A few little minor spots right here. Everything that I'm pointing out is extremely minor. Look how nice everything looks. The reflection in the hood right there. It's a great shot to show that there is not much going on here to really write home about. We'll get one more shot from the other side. Look how nice all that looks right through there. Whoever owned this car previously did a good job with it because it's in great shape. So the worst spot on the whole car is going to be right here. Right here. There's a touch-up spot there, and there is a tiny, tiny little dent. See if I can get it. There's no access to this spot for my dent guy, so he was not able to really do anything with it. And because it's right here on this edge, he couldn't put a glue pull on it to try to pull it out, just because of where it is. And I didn't want to risk cracking the paint or pulling paint. A lot of times when they glue a glue pull tool on here, they want to yank it off. That's how you pull the dent up. Well, sometimes if the paint's thin, it will crack the paint or even pull the paint off. And because this car has no paint work on it and is so nice overall, I didn't want to jeopardize it. So again, that's going to be the worst spot on the whole car. That tiny little, tiny little dent right there. Outside of that, that is, again, that's the worst spot on the whole car, in my opinion. Look how nice the side of that car is. Love the Inferno color. It's my top 3 on the TRD Pro specific colors, if you're asking me. Again, I'm not the buyer, but it's a fantastic looking color. Really pops, and I think these Pros deserve that. Look how nice the side of this car is. Really well cared for, and just overall fantastic condition. So here's our mirror. Don't have anything going on with the mirror. We're going to roll up our rail right here and our pillar. We're going to be looking for any kind of dents. Obviously, I know there's not, but I'm just pointing out for you, those of you out there, that's what you need to be focused on, and this will be a great shot of it. All right, so let's hit this front wheel. Nothing to talk about here. Everything looks great. We don't have any curb marks, rash marks, anything going on there. There's our Mastercraft Courser tires. These tires were on the car when I bought it, and as you can see, they are relatively new. I'm sure that some of you out there are wondering why there's a touring style tire on it, including me. But again, when you have a tire that is that tall tread-wise, I have a hard time replacing them. So we'll leave that up to the next buyer. Wheel number 2, left rear. Just like the front, nothing to talk about. No curb marks, no damage, nothing going on there. And as you can see, tall tread. So, really not much to say about the side of this car as far as touch-up spots go or dents or anything like that. Making sure I'm not missing anything, but really, really nice condition. Moving to this rear bumper. Much like the rest of the car, it is in fantastic shape. Nothing to really talk about. Same thing with our painted TRD part down here. Everything looks really nice. Liftgate is perfect. Nothing to talk about back there. I mean, overall, guys, this is a super nice 4Runner, super clean. I know you might be thinking, yeah. No, it really is. Look how nice everything is up through here, all of our trim. We don't have any fading going on up here on the top of our spoiler. And same thing with the bottom part of the spoiler. Everything looks really nice. Let's check out this cargo area. So one little spot, which I know we've seen the undercarriage. Look how nice all of our bumper bolts look. Our striker, zero rust at all, or corrosion even, which are common little spots to see that on. So this does have our little package tray back here that does work and is in fantastic shape. It's not gouged up, it's not scratched up. It looks really nice. The carpet looks great on there. Same thing underneath, and even on the back of our seats. Look how nice the back of the seats are. This was not used as a, this was somebody's daily driver, and they lightly did that at best. Look how nice all the plastic is here in the cargo area. Same thing with this side. If you want to nitpick, there was something that happened right there. But very, very minor, in my opinion. Personally, I'd be taking that tray out, but that's just me. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, we have a jack and we have a set of tools. So that's nice. Everything is there that needs to be, so you can change your tire. Look how nice all of our jam looks. Factory spot welds running up the quarter panel. Again, there is no paint work on this car. Look how nice all this looks up here. I wish they all were like this. Everything looks really, really good up here, and nothing to write home about, other than it needing a power lift gate. All right, passenger side time. We'll take a walk down the passenger side, and it's much like the driver's side. Really, really nice shape. Look how nice. Look at the reflection in the doors. For a car that there's only one other Inferno example on the market that I could find, I don't know how you can get a nicer version of it than this. Let's check our rail up here, and even our C-pillar. How nice the C-pillar looks. Rail looks good. We're gonna get a better view from this angle. Passenger mirror, much like the other side, nothing to say. This is a nice, clean car, guys. Very minimal touch-up on it. It's very obvious, being a Florida car, this was a garage-kept car. A lot of Florida cars will have hard water on them where they sit outside and the sprinklers and whatnot, but this is not the case here. There's a great shot of the bumper. Again, no paint work on this car. Zero. And there's just very minimal touch-up to talk about. I wish I could point some things out to you guys, but there's really not much to point out. Let's take a look at this front wheel. And just like the other two, it is in fantastic shape. No damage, no dents, no curb marks. Matching Mastercraft tire with some nice tall tread. Right rear, just like the other three. Fantastic condition. We don't have any issues. And we've got a like new tire. I mean, honestly, I've walked, previously, before doing the video, I've walked around looking for things. There's really not much to say about this passenger side of this car. Just a super, super clean, nice, zero paint work. Hard to find TRD Pro. All right, let's start the interior. Okay, so here we are at the right front door. As you can see, we're gonna start to pay attention to these door edges. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine when they get banged up and repaired and whatnot. This one looks perfect. We don't have any damage, any previous repair, anything like that going on. Bottom of the door panel is not all scuffed up. Again, guys, I can't overstress. This car was really well cared for. We don't have any peeling going on with our metallic trim here. That is pretty common to see that. All of our door switch buttons up here, none of those are fading. We got a working window. How nice all of our kick plate looks. Maybe some minor scuffing going on here, but not anything crazy. Look how nice all of our jam and everything is running up here. I mean, this is such a nice car. Does not show the miles. All right, our seat plastic all looks great. Side of our bottom of our seat looks perfect. This leather actually, if you want to call it leather, actually holds up really well in these cars. Passenger seat doesn't look like it's had much use at all. And we have a seat that goes forward, comes back. It reclines, and it does come back up. One thing I'll showcase here, look how nice the side of the console looks. It's not all gouged up from the seat belt, which drives me crazy on these cars. Everything looks really nice down here. One thing to note, which you're going to see this on tons of Gen 5s, you'll even see it on the Limiteds that have the wood grain. This little trim will start to crack. It's not anything you can feel. It's under the whatever the top coat is that they spray on top of this. I know a lot of you have seen it. That is going on. Again, it's very minor, and this section can be replaced with, you know, a different version or the same version back with it. Two little scratches right there on that glove box door. I could have had my interior guy repair those, but this car is so original, so genuine. I didn't want him to do any kind of repair. It's kind of hard to match this texture, so I just left it the way it is. Again, very minor detail. TRD carpet mats. Clearly it had some weather text down at some point. That's what that hard line is in the carpet, but the carpet looks perfect underneath. That's what's important. And we will keep moving. So here is our right rear door panel. We're going to go right to the edge. Everything looks really nice, just like the front door. Armrest looks great. Our door pull looks fantastic. We have another working window. The bottom of the door panel looks fantastic. Well, you can see where I made a mess up because I forgot to wipe all this off when I stood on the roof. I will do that. So those of you who are interested, there will not be a bunch of dirt or whatever that is coming with the car. So don't worry about that. Outside of that, look how nice our kick plate looks. Look at our jam. Look how nice this jam is. I mean, it looks brand new. There's no seatbelt marks that are, you know, that have been touched up. A lot of times people will get out and the seatbelt will be here and they'll shut the door and it'll create a gouge. None of that going on. Look how nice all that is. Back of our passenger seat looks perfect. Bottom of the right rear seat. I mean, this rear seat looks like it's had no use. I mean, such a nice car. See what we got going on underneath. Carpet looks perfect. Bottom of the rear seat is perfect. And seat does fold down. I'm not going to go all the way down, but we'll get to the cargo here in 1 second. Oh. Back of our console looks good. Our 12-volt covers are both intact. Our registers themselves are working and looking good. Look how nice the console is. Back of the passenger seat. Carpet all down here looks really nice. Nice clean car here. Again, I know we kind of already looked at the cargo. Just going to show off the headliner up here. Looking good. Let's get on to that driver's side. So left rear door panel. Again, we're looking at our edges. We don't have any damage, any previous repair. Everything looks really nice. Armrest up here looks great. Top of the door panel looks great. Door pull itself is in great shape. We don't have any scuffing, anything crazy going on. Another working window. Look how nice the jamb is. Again, I know some of you are probably like, why do you care? This is actually a great sign of how a vehicle was stored. Not necessarily cared for, but stored. Vehicles that sit outside, you'll have water that'll get into these jams. And again, a lot of times you'll see hard water in these jams. You'll see gouges, scuffs, things from seat belts. Look how nice all that looks. Kick plate's in great shape. Carpet underneath, like the rest, is in perfect condition. I like doing this car because there's not a lot to talk about. Back of the seat all looks really nice. Same thing with the bottom part of the left rear seat. Seat does fold down as it should. Bottom of the left rear seat all looks really nice. Door panel looks great. Minor scuffing on the bottom of the speaker cover down here, but nothing major. The rest of the door panel looks really good. Armrest looks great. Top of the door panel looks good. There is some light scratching, as you can see, right here on this door pull. And it kind of goes right into this plastic trim right here, but not anything crazy. Very minor wear. Look how nice everything is, like back in here in this jam area. Super clean. Whoever gets this is going to be getting a nice clean car. Kick plate's in great shape. Minor scuffs right here to be expected. But this section looks really nice. Our seat plastic looks great. You do have some kind of repair that was done right here on this lumbar at some point. Very, very minor, and it looks great, whatever they did. So not anything to write home about. The rest of the seat looks great. This is all original leatherette or whatever you want to call it. It's not really leather. Looking good. Seat does come forward, does come back, and it does recline, and it does come back up. Look how nice all of our knee pad area is down here. A few little minor scratches right there on that trim. Side of the console looks great. It's not super beat up from the seatbelt. Storage all looks nice. Whoa. Heated seats do come on. Look how nice all of our trim is. This trim is much like the door panel or the door handle trim where it'll scratch and gouge. You don't have any of that going on here, which is uncommon because a lot of times people just get in and throw their stuff on the console. Shift knob looks great. Four-wheel drive selector. Really clean in here. Before I forget, let me show off the rear window working. No issues there. So let's hit this climate control. Nice and cold. I know you guys can't feel that, but it's nice and cold. All right, so here's our radio. As you can see, navigation on the screen, we will make that big. We can toggle through everything. We can zoom in, zoom out. There's our home screen. Let's go back to apps. Setup. Just kind of going through some of these for you guys. You can set up your home screen, how you want to do that. No, I don't want to pair. So we can change all of our settings. I'll turn the radio up a little bit just so you can hear it does work, but I'm not going to get copyrighted by YouTube. So, oh, there's some music and I'd rather not have that happen. So we're going to go to source.
You come get blow to us. They do the battery.
There's that. We all know that it does work. There's no issues with the radio. Whoa. Almost got caught there. So the XM's still active. Everything works as it should. Let me showcase the Bluetooth, which I'm not connected. So you will be able to do that, obviously. Let me hit the backup camera while I'm right here. There we go. Works as it should. Dash looks really nice up here. Let me get right back down here. So there's our 12 volt and our USB and our auxiliary, as you can see. Steering wheel is in fantastic condition. This trim is like the door panel trim where it will scratch and gouge and do funny things.
We don't have any of that going on here. It looks really nice. The steering wheel's in great shape. Buttons aren't, you know, peeling or faded. Emblems not peeling or faded. Buttons over here not peeling and faded. Same thing with our volume buttons. So nothing to worry about on the steering wheel side of things. So there we are, no lights, 153,778. Everything looks good there. Let's check our horn. Let's check our blinkers. We will turn on our hazards. And I'm going to turn on the windshield wipers. Not going to spray anything, but I will show you that they do work. All right, so our left mirror, let me clear this up, goes out, comes back in, down and up. Passenger side goes down, comes up, comes in, and goes back out. And as you can see, the rest of your switches over there, you got your DRLs that are on, your 120 volt switch, which we can turn that on. You've got the heated windshield part if you ever have frozen situation, not going to do that. And then you got your dimmer over there. So everything works as it should. And that about does it for the inside. So let's get on to the next one. All right, so before we take off and go on a quick drive, I want to engage four-wheel drive and specifically 4Low, and we will turn on the multi-terrain select as well. As you can see, we don't have any lights on. We're in two-wheel drive. So the Gen 4s make it easy. Everything's still manual, unlike the Land Cruisers. So we're in drive still. You can go into 4 high while you're in drive. No problems there. And as you see, move the steering wheel, you can see that little green indicator letting you know that you are in 4 high. So we are going to go to neutral. We're going to go over and up, and we're going to be in 4Low as you see right there. And then multi-terrain select, we're just going to turn on like that. These are all our settings that we can toggle through, and then our speeds right here. Once you start moving, you can adjust those speeds. So everything works as it should there, engages as it should. As you see right here, it shows mud and sand when you kind of toggle through those different settings. But we're still in neutral, so we'll come back into high. As you see, we're back in high. We're going to turn off multi-terrain select. I'm going to put it in drive, and then I'm going to switch back to two-wheel drive, and there you have it. So let me throw on a seatbelt, get spin around, and we will go for a drive. All right, and here we go. We're going to be listening for any drivetrain noise, wheel bearing noise, anything that's of concern. Everything sounds really nice. Sounds like a 4Runner should. Steering wheel's nice and straight. No shake from the tires. In balance. We're going to get on the brakes here. Everything feels really nice. Brakes feel great. No rotor shake. Nothing to complain about. This is a really, really nice car. Somebody's going to get a nice TRD Pro here. All right, so we're going to watch the steering wheel again. It's nice and straight, not bouncing, not doing anything. I don't have my hands on it. Gonna get on the brakes here. Steering wheel's nice and straight. Previous owner did a really nice job with this one. No rattles, no nothing going on here with this car. This is just overall a nice car. All right, so we're gonna do two last things here. All right, so we are going to do two things. We're going to, one, check to see if this has factory remote start. To engage the factory remote start on any Toyota that has factory remote start, you're going to hit the lock button 3 times, and on the 3rd time, you're going to hold it. So this does not have factory remote start. If it did, after the 3rd beep, it would have beeped one more time and then it would have started. Now, the other thing we're gonna do, we know the car's locked because I just locked it 3 times. We're gonna check for door lock actuators that are not working. And all we're gonna do now, again, the car's locked, is we're just gonna simply walk up to all 5 handles and make sure that the doors stay closed when we pull them. If there were any actuators that were not working, including the lift gate, these doors would open when the car's locked. So there you go. So you know you don't have any door lock actuators to worry about, which is a common deal on all Toyota products. And that's it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Such a nice, clean, really hard to find spec. As you know, 1-year color option only. I know those of you looking know that, but just a really cool spec, really pops nice. And this is a genuine, nice, clean car. So as always, guys, feel free to reach out, chris@hilsonluxury.com. Make sure you like and subscribe to stay up to date with our newest inventory and projects that we're working on. And you can call me at 678-454-6060, and we'll talk to one of you soon.